Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. So if we take a look at the trends of recent movies, we see how massively the budget of these blockbusters are increasing. The most expensive movie made this year was $250 million. That's insane. That's enough to buy 500 of these Lamborghinis. That's like 1% of the national debt. And that's not even the most expensive movie in recent history. Movies are getting more and more expensive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I wanted to talk about some movies that are finding ways to cut back on these costs. Now, there's a subgenre of film, if you can even call it that, where the creator of the film, for whatever reason, decided to make the movie all take place in one location. Examples of this type of movie would be Hitchcock's Rear Window, Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, and of course, Lumet's 12 Angry Men. Now, of course, it's impossible to narrow down exactly what drives these filmmakers to choose this style. It could be budget, sure, but it could also be an interesting plot device or just a cool gimmick. So today, I wanted to talk about this type of movie and what makes the good ones work and the bad ones fail. Step one would be logical reason. There needs to be a good reason as to why the film takes place in one location. I mentioned Rear Window earlier. This movie does an excellent job of giving logical reason to the spatial confines of the film. Jeff, the protagonist, is recovering from a leg surgery, so he's locked to a wheelchair in his apartment, hence why he's looking out the rear window. Furthermore, the entire story is driven by the idea that Jeff is a photographer, and he's spying on his neighbor's dealings through his camera lenses. Pieces of this story fall together in such a way so that the gimmick of the movie, him being stuck at his rear window, makes sense and doesn't feel forced. If the entire idea of the single location movie just feels like a forced marketing gimmick, it won't be as compelling. Which leads me to my second point, which is building a world outside of that single location is very important. Although the immediate action of the story takes place in one location, there must be information that comes from beyond. 12 Angry Men does this perfectly. The entire film takes place in the jury discussion room, but the jurors fully flesh out through dialogue the events and people involved in the case. They go into detail describing the looks and the personality of the witnesses that we never even see.
The woman who testified that she saw the killing had those same marks on the sides of her nose.
Even though the story takes place in a stagnant location, the scope of the story is much larger. Now, the third step is giving distinct and interesting personalities to the characters we know. This is an idea that the best sitcoms utilize well. We come to know and love the distinct and interesting personalities of the characters that drive the story, even though the location remains the same. By giving interesting and compelling personalities to the characters we are given, it keeps the story moving forward. Reservoir Dogs does this very well. Each of the characters has a very unique and recognizable personality that keeps the plot interesting. Each of the characters is even named after specific colors rather than giving them names.
Here are your names. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, and Mr. Pink.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
So those are the 3 points that I came up with. Logical reason, the story beyond the story, and interesting characters. Now, surely there are a million other things that make these movies so great, but these are the things that I came up with that I think really propel these movies and movies like them forward. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace.